Hi, welcome to our post-show talkback for the Misanthrope tonight. My name is Sammy Dickmas, and I'm one of the dramaturgs that worked on this production. Um, just to give you an insight on if you don't know what dramaturgy is, dramaturgs often look into insight and research for the historical content of shows. Tonight, we will be having a short conversation about the play that we watched. Uh, we're gonna, I'm gonna have some conversations and answer some questions. And yes, I am here today with some lovely cast and crew of the show. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Kieran McCormick. I play the role of Alceste, and yeah, it was a really fun experience.
All right, I'll go next. I'm Alexis Miller, and I was the stage manager for this show.
I'll go next since I'm in the same frame. Hi, my name is Philip Jones, and I played the role of Philant.
Hi, my name is Natalie Griffin, and I played the role of Solomon.
Excellent. So obviously, unfortunately to Corona, we are in a new environment. So how was working through Zoom in each of your roles, or as you, Alexis, as the stage manager?
It was interesting, to say the least. Definitely very new. It wasn't that bad though. Like I was very worried about it to begin with, but like as we kept going, it was like, oh, it's pretty much as like a normal rehearsal for the most part.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was it was really bad. It was really bad for the first week, and we tried to do everything. Like I went to Tyler Hall, I changed from my computer, and then I just ultimately went on my phone because like that was the best option. But I was on my bed for half of it, and then I just put it on my laptop. My phone was on the laptop, and that was it. But other than that, that's Zoom. You get the weird connections, but I think in the end it looked really nice for everybody. There was nothing really bad that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely different because it was on Zoom and it was a 2-week rehearsal process versus like 2 months where we would have gotten with a in-person production at Sony Oswego. But I think we did the best that we could have done, and I'm just really grateful to have an experience at all with theater during these crazy times. So yeah, I think it went honestly really well, and I'm just grateful that we were able to do anything theater related.
Yeah, there was a lot of like MacGyvering, figuring out. But I know I just wanted to say that there's a lot of like figuring things out and like working together too. I just wanted to add that quickly, just because I felt like there was a lot more like teamwork because like it was almost like none of us knew what we were doing, so it was like kind of we're all on the same playing field of like, well, how do we do this and how do we do that? How do we put up a whole show and just on Zoom and stuff like that? So it was definitely a different experience.
Definitely a very teamwork ethic in a sense. Uh, Speaking of Molière, his language is very different to what we know in society now. So how was it for you guys working through that?
Well, on my part, 2 years ago when I was a junior in high school, I actually was in a Shakespeare play, and I don't know, and this wasn't Shakespeare, but the language is so similar that in a sense give it like a couple of days, I got used to it, and it wasn't actually that hard to understand. Yeah, there were some words I didn't know, but I feel like when I did the show in high school, I had like 2 3 months to prepare, but for this, since I had the common knowledge, it wasn't that bad. And as a someone in the show and not someone viewing it, I feel like yeah, it could have been easily interpreted.
Yeah, it was almost like a song, I guess, where it's that similar nature of like everything's always gonna rhyme. So like for me at least, it was easier to understand the language because yeah, of course, there's always gonna be words you have to look up and figure out. But like in general, it was always going to rhyme. So like just knowing that in your head, it actually helps a lot with like the whole memorization and having like performing aspect of that part.
Yeah, I feel like when you first look at it, it almost seems like it's really inaccessible and really like daunting to learn. But once you really get like the rhythm and start to understand the lines, and then you, as an actor, can start like portraying the lines as the real meaning is. I feel like they're a lot more understandable and accessible as audience members when the actors understand what they're saying. So it's really just like understanding the lines and everything, and they become a lot more clear.
Let's see, we have a question from the chat. So, someone said, bravo, wonderful to see, great show, tough to produce in this environment. What was the toughest part of this process?
Probably on my part, it would be memorizing the lines because I've been doing theater since I was like 10, but memorizing lines in like a big role like this was something really hard, and especially in such a short amount of time. So I think, and especially because it's this kind of language, so that was probably the most difficult thing I had to do. But I think in the end, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I would say
lighting. Oh.
you go.
Lighting happened twice. It happens twice. It's okay. I'm just really bad talking. I was just gonna say my problem was lighting, because we're all filming in our rooms, so I had to like figure out a way of trying to get as much light like on like soft light on my face as possible and not have it any glare or anything like that. So I ended up just like ripping out a whole bunch of like notebook paper and just like taping that on like like this like TV that I have in front of me so that I can like shine light on it and make it like somewhat somewhat nice to look at. So just like figuring all that stuff out was definitely my biggest problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say just like building those connections with other actors and everything, and building up like that chemistry, because usually you have for one thing, a lot longer to do it, and when you're in person, you can really get to know people. But on Zoom, you don't really have that. So just trying to build up the connections with other actors, I would say, would be probably the hardest part. But I feel like we did as best as we could do to try and get to know each other and build up those connections over Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question that came in was, how long was this process for you guys?
Well, all right. So it started second week is when we had auditions, and you guys were given actors were given scripts by the third week after callbacks. I'm pretty sure that's when I sent them out. So they had the scripts for a while, but we didn't start actually working until September 28th. And we finished recording on October 9th. And we only worked on weekdays. So we only had 10 days to really rehearse. So, I mean, it was a short amount of time to get something like a product like this. So it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Question? Oh.
I was just going to say, as a freshman, this is definitely one of the weirdest experiences I could have had. But no, it's like, this is going to be a lasting memory on me now. Like, I don't know, this whole process was something, it was cool. It's definitely better than high school, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know. I mean, maybe next year I'd rather have Zoom than, in person. But I would like to get back on the stage. But it's good to have, different kind of things. And I feel like the entire cast and crew made it awesome. It was a fun time.
Someone would like to know with the social media aspect, who worked on that? Do you guys know?
Yeah, sorry. I was like, I don't know who else is gonna respond to that. It was our professor, Patrick Mathis, and a student worked with him as well, putting that together with the dramaturgy team. And I asked the cast to put together like photos and then comments that they think their characters would make in a drive to create like a world basically for these characters.
And with that social media aspect, did you guys enjoy it? Well, how do you think it helped the show, or like was it an add set to the show?
I
I mean,
really
I think
enjoyed
like
it.
any character work like that, I
Why do we keep doing that?
I'm so sorry. I don't know
I
why.
think we
this
should like
was happening.
raise hands or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Can we just have a little like a little like plaque or something? I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that it helps, anything like that helps with character, because it's like extracurricular kind of stuff. So just working on that was always cool, and just trying to get into like your character's mind and like being like, oh, what would they post? What would they comment? How would they interact with this world that we're trying to create? So it was always fun, and I think that always helped with like fleshing out how I thought of the characters and the world in general.
Yeah, exactly what Phil said. But also just when Steven, our director, said that we were kind of setting it in like modern times, this really old play from hundreds of years ago, and kind of setting it in modern times with actual college students, it really helped getting to put our characters like on social media and how they would interact with the world as if they were college students. So I think it really helped with that as well.
Do you think like in the future this like social media aspect will like become a nature or a part of theater in a sense?
Yes. All right, I'll go. Yeah. I think I think it will. I mean, it's more of a part of our lives now that why wouldn't you add it into theater? Because everybody is now so familiar with it that it's easier to get an audience to connect to an element like that.
Someone asked, is there any seniors of a part of this, and if it's their last show?
No, I don't think so. Not in this cast.
No. A question that I was came up with was, there's a lot of issues with relationships and like how they form throughout the show. Has this show given you a new idea or perspective on like relationships and such?
Not at all. Not at all. No, especially on my part. I know everything not to do. So I'm gonna take everything I did and get away from that. I'm not gonna do that. Because if I actually want a relationship, with another actual human being, I'm not gonna do what Alcest did at all. Not at all.
Yeah, Alcest and Solomon had a very toxic relationship. I feel like I saw that, especially watching back. I was like, nah. But I feel like it can kind of show us the warning signs and what not to do in relationship almost. Yeah.
But then you could take like a relationship like Elian and Philan, and that's something you would want to work on. Like definitely that could push forward. Solomon and Alcest, I don't think that's going anywhere. No.
No. Good job, guys, on a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, I always took away, like, one of the major things that I took away from that show was like humble, and I think the biggest thing about Philan is that he is humble, and like I think that's kind of how him and Elion are in a good relationship, because he understands the world, he's compassionate, and I think that's kind of one of the things that this play, one of the lessons I think that it gives us, is that always, be compassionate, listen to others, and just always be humble.
Yeah, and I feel like the biggest problem with Alcest and Solomon is either is trying to change the other so much, and just accepting the person that you love as who they are. I feel like is a big lesson as well.
Yeah, I try to change Selman too much, and that's not what's supposed to happen in a relationship. So that's why destined not to work out.
Mm. Another question that came in was, did you guys do any personal research on France and like the habits of it?
So
I personally
go ahead.
okay, yeah. I personally didn't do any like, specific thing on France, but I did do specific things of how my character would be in, like you said before, this is a play that's like hundreds of years old, but to make it more modern, I did some, things that maybe my character would be into, like what band he would be into, like what would he be watching, what would he be doing, what would he be posting. So I try to do something, I try to get into character by being Alcest, because I'm in the real world, I'm not like Alcest. So, but when I'm playing a character, I gotta get into that mindset. So I'm like, grunge and stuff, like maybe like a little like, he's all over the place. And so I didn't specifically go into France, but I did go into how can I develop my character more. So that's what I did.
Yeah, what I was going to say is we had a lot of support and resources from our incredible dramaturgy team. So they created, or you created, a whole hub full of research that we as actors could go on to and learn about, French society and more about our characters and the history and the context in which this play was written, which is a great resource and incredible that we were able to do that so we could get all of our information right from there. So that's what I used a lot.
Yeah. Props to the dramaturgy class of fall 2020. One of my questions that I was going to say is, what character from this play was your favorite besides the one that you played yourself?
Orant. I loved his bow tie and I loved his sonnets. They were beautiful.
I would probably say, I think Cost just had that attitude, like,
Say costume.
yeah, he doesn't give he doesn't care what anybody has to say about him. He walks in the room, he's like, I own this place. I don't care what anybody says. I'm number one.
Just,
and I don't know.
just the confidence he has is just so it's amazing. I'm like that. That would be it's just so much fun to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a cast.
Definitely.
Okay, so I think we have one more time for one last question, and I was wondering which. I'm really proud of this one, but if you can't think of an answer, that's okay. I was wondering which other theatrical character from like a play or a musical would you describe as a misanthrope or has misanthrope tendencies?
I actually think I might know one. Like I said before, 2 years ago I did a Shakespeare play. It was A Midsummer Night's Dream. In that play, I played a character named Demetrius. And in that, I think he could be definitely a prime example of very Alceste-like in the sense of, I don't know if you guys know the play and all, but like he likes someone likes him, he doesn't like that person back, but the person he likes doesn't like him back, and he just gets all entangled and stuff happens. And I just feel like the actions he makes, the character choices, very misanthropy, I don't know. So I guess that would be someone who I could see being in this play. Yeah.
I can't think of it.
I have no idea. The thing is, it's hard because there are definitely characters that are misanthropes,
Yes.
100%. But for some reason, I just can't think of any of them right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was literally thinking, I was like, the first character that came to my mind, and I'm pretty sure to play is Scrooge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 that's
yes.
good. That's great. Yeah.
But I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the cast and crew for being a part of this tonight. And thank you for everyone else and for joining us in the Misanthrope Talkback presented by SUNY Oswego. And yeah.